buenos dias, good morning, salam alaikum, alaikum salam, to all. I pray you guys are doing great. Another day, another dollar, making a donut. Today's not that bad, 68 degrees. Philadelphia, we starting to get the cold mornings and warmer afternoons. But here we know that winter is here. Guys, I just came in like always to say hello, what's up, how you guys are doing, peace and blessings be upon you. Hope your family members are doing well. I came here today because I wanted to speak about a small topic. Like always, you know me, small topics. And what I want to come in today and speak about is giving credit when credit is due. Giving credit when credit is due, or to who credit is due. Giving credit to who credit is due. You know, when I first started looking into getting into Malongo, I used to do a lot of research, right? And I used to watch a lot of, well, back then, I mean, there wasn't that much videos out there to watch. And if they were in Spanish. A lot of elders, like Tata Butaco, like I forget this guy, Mexican brother, I forget his name, that this whole big thing came out, and big problem. I used to watch him. I used to watch well, you know, they weren't too many of them, but you know, they were out there. And, you know, as the years went by, well, YouTube started getting more, you know, popular, and people started making more videos and coming out and speak. And there's documentaries about Palo and stuff like that. And there were good people that knew what they were doing and was speaking and was giving out a little knowledge about the practice. But there was a lot of fugazi stuff, you know, a lot of stuff that was, you know, not right. But there was some that were teaching certain things, even though it might not have been at its completion or at the most accurate, or maybe they didn't go in depth teaching it and stuff like that. Because we know at the end of the day in Malongo, the practice is more secretive. A lot of people don't divulge things from Palo like that. Now, these days is where it's a little more open. And the reason why it's a little more open, I think, is because people are trying to either benefit and profit off of it. You have those, and then you have people that want to help out the community. And the only way to help out the community and to awaken the community, there's certain things that have to be said that were not said before. We're living in a different time, a different age. Things are not the same way. But still, you know, always having a limit of what can be said and what should not be said, you know. If you guys already noticed and know, you go on YouTube and you see a whole bunch of things, WhatsApp, you go to all these places and you hear people speaking and all that. But there weren't too many English speaking people. There were a couple of English people down the line, years down the line, that I used to watch, but they didn't speak too much about Malongo. They spoke about other traditions, you know, like La Santa Muerte, Santo, you know, Ocha, and then, you know, I started seeing people speaking about Palo. And in English, I mean, you know, not only in Spanish, but in English, because Ocha in Spanish, forget about it. There were videos like crazy in Spanish, you know, so I'm speaking about for the English community. And some spoke English and Spanish. Some made videos in English and then made some videos in Spanish also, you know, to kind of help out that English community. But, you know, they didn't do many. They didn't do a lot of videos like that. And here down the line, then people started getting online and, you know, starting to talk a little bit. about Palo. But as I'm researching Palo, throughout the years and stuff like that, not, really knowing if I wanted to get into it or none of that. This is way before all things started, like, stuff started going down the drain for me, at the beginning, a lot of hiccups and a lot of problems. I started listening to some people, and here and then I will catch something from a practitioner that I never heard before or I never seen. But it was very minuscule. Not everyone and not all, and even those who taught a little bit was very, very not so much informative to those who really did not know anything about this concept. And this concept has to do with the Banto cosmogram. Nobody on YouTube used to come out and speak about binary codes in Malongo. Nobody on these platforms would talk about any of these things. How important and how profound is the Chamalongos, the Ensandis, the Yamputos. Nobody. I never heard anybody speaking about the Chamalongos. The only person that I saw this, but he didn't go real into it because, like I said, these things are secretive, was Tata Butaco. The first time I saw binary codes was from Tata Butaco. But he didn't explain it to an extent. Why? Because it's secret. You gotta be initiated. You gotta be under his house, And unfortunately, he's not with us anymore. I had back in the days. He used to do a course or classes for a certain amount of time, and you had to pay a tuition and for the day that he was gonna start doing it. And there was one point where I had called him and spoke to him, and he told me, he was gonna start, that he would let me know, or he would put an ad up when it's gonna be the when he was gonna start again the classes. And it never happened. He passed away. The only person that I saw that put the codes up like that and showed it, he didn't explain a lot about it. He explained about other things, fidmas, and give you indications of the ensansas, or you could say the kibuandendes, and stuff like that. And I know that a lot of people will use these codes to look for ensilas for people, but not divine, and not use the Chamalongo with binary codes with the Chamalongos. They will not. I never heard this. Never I heard this. So years go by, things starts going, I'm looking, I'm still looking, I'm fighting bad, things start, I get in here, I get in there, I get this, I get that, stuff doesn't work out or none of that. And I always kept those signs from Tata Butaco because he had wrote them on a board. And I had copied them down, not knowing what were they about. None of that. As time went by, I saw that some people will use these to find people's ensilas, these binary, these, and then I bind these codes, right? Or these fidmas, really. And that's the only thing that I knew about that they were using. How they used them, I did not know. You have to understand that the house that I came from used to use 16 cowrie shells. And that's how I was being taught how to divine, with 16 cowrie shells. Almost the same system like Ocha. But they didn't use the Dialogun. The Dialogun, they didn't use that. And they didn't use Oduns. But you could see that the system had a mixture of it. Even though it was named different or whatever, they had a system that was almost parallel with Ocha. As time goes by, let's bring you up to these dates. I meet a person. And we started talking for a couple of months. And at the beginning, we started just communicating, and I was looking for advice. I was fed up already. I was like tired already, with the tradition and stuff like that, you get overwhelmed sometimes, and you get disappointed with so many things that happens. But at this point, I already had my Nkisi. I was scratched into Tata, first in Gayo, and then when I received my Nkisi, I got initiated as Tata. But I didn't know much. I'm gonna tell you, I didn't know nothing, man. Because the little things that you learn out there is very minuscule, minute. You understand? And sometimes, I know I always have been the person that if I'm gonna learn something and I already have been taught one way, that I know that in order for me to learn it, I gotta stop. I gotta deprogram myself from what I was taught in order to come new with a fresh mind and look at things for what I'm being taught, and the way I'm being taught. So here at first, I thought that the person who I was speaking to didn't have no inclination to take me on to be their godson. No inclination to give me what some of us call sombra, what some of us call adoption, what some of us call accepted to their lineage. Because, I always say, to me, some of the people that knew and they were great, they don't take anyone. They just don't take anyone. You understand? They just don't take anyone. You have to understand it. And as months went by, this man took me in. And this man is Tata Matamba. Tata Matamba. Little did I know that Tata Matamba was going to be my godfather, or at least was going to give me mentorship, or was going to bring me in. Because I was just looking for advice, where he could send me, if he knew somebody, and all that, So, to make a long story short, Tata Matamba takes me in under his wing. And slowly but surely, he starts teaching me certain things. We talking after we We did the initiation after we did our treaties, after we reconstructed our Manganga, Gama and Kuyo, everything was reconstructed. God, came in the fold. You understand? He started teaching me little by little, and he's still teaching me, and he's still teaching quite a few of us, and he has taught a little bit to a lot of people that watch his videos, or to some of the people that have been inside his classes. But little do I know that those signs that I saw Tata Butako put up, Tata Matamba knew about that. And not only he knew about those signs, he divined with the Chamalongos using the binary code of Malongo. If you look online for a book talking about Malongo binary codes, it's very scarce. And I'm not saying this because Tata Matamba is my godfather. I'm saying this is because I haven't seen it. I seen some that have something close, but not a lot, but not the same, and neither not the same. And I'm not saying that those who don't use this system of divination are wrong and they should use it. No, I'm not saying that. Use what you're being taught. At the end of the day, is a language. I'm just saying that you have to give credit to who credit is due. One was Tata Butako. That's because that's the first time I saw all those symbols like that. And the second person is Tata Matamba. That actually is divines with it, knows the concept, is teaching us this concept, and it has a lot. It ain't a simple binary system. It's not simple. It has different ways to interpret. It has a lot. It's just not yeses or nos. And this concept is based upon the Dikenga, the circle of life, the Banto cosmogram. The foundation of this is the Banto cosmogram, the Dikenga, the Yowa, the Tenduenza. That's the concept. That's the main foundation, is that cosmogram. And the reason why I say this, and I came out today is because I want people to know, that Tata Matamba, Tata Butako, even though they have shown or some way, somehow have taught something to someone, they were not the only ones that knew this. But it wasn't something taught to the masses, to the people. That's what I'm trying to say. It wasn't taught to people, to the masses. And not everybody knows this system. They're out there, but not everybody knows this system. Or at least know how to divine with the Chamalongos. Listen, I only say this is because sometimes there are people that take credit for things, you know, and don't have the audacity or the ability to give someone else credit. And to me, that's not correct. You understand? Because it's not because you want someone to look at you or high and mighty. No, it's not for that. It's that we have to understand, people, that we don't know everything. And when we are taught something that's valuable, that makes sense, that has substance, we remember who taught us. We remember who we saw that teaching that. So my hats off to Tata Utako. May he rest in peace. And my hats off to Tata Matamba. And I know what he's gonna say. Hats off to your Bambuta. Well, my hats off to my Bambuta also. Because he's the one who taught Tata Matamba. Now, I wanna, and like I said, guys, I'm not saying Tata Utako and Tata Matamba are the only ones that knows about this system, or divines with this type of, using this type of binary system. They're out there, but it's scarce. Not a lot of people use the chamalongos like that. And when you start seeing people online teaching certain concepts, think back. When was the first time you heard, if you ever have heard something like that concept, and from who? And if you buy books from individuals and you learn something from it, and whatever it may be, anything that you learn from those books, and you're gonna make videos, at least put their name or say their name. Give them the credit they deserve. Now, we're gonna away from that. Go back to the Dikenga. Dikenga is the circle of life, the Banto cosmogram. The Dikenga, like I said, is the foundation of it all. Some might agree, some might disagree. But to me, that's the foundation of it all. As I've been taught and being taught the concept, I see that to me, it is the foundation of it all, especially if you're practicing in Malongo. In the Dikenga, if you notice, everywhere you look in Palo and Malongo, you see firmas. I'm not saying that all firmas have to do with a cross and a circle. There are many firmas that don't have a circle around it and a cross. I'm not saying that. But the great majority of them, you're going to see a circle and you're going to see a cross and other things. Where does that come from? That comes from the Banto cosmogram, the Dikenga dia Congo. That's where it comes from. Now, how do you use it? It's up to those who are teaching that concept. It's up to those leaders out there that are teaching it to teach whoever's under their wing. And once again, if you don't use this concept, there's no problem with it. As long as you have a understanding and you have a way of communicating with your Mfumbe, whichever way it may be, that's fine. I'm not saying this is the only way, but I'm saying that the Banto cosmogram is the foundation of it all. Right? Listen. In the Banto cosmogram, you could give me a second. There's so much traffic out here. Streets are closed. The Banto cosmogram, you have time. In the Banto cosmogram, you have the days. The Banto cosmogram, you have weeks, you have months, you have seasons, you have direction. You have the concept of polarity. You have the concept of stages. You got the concept of conception, of birth, of maturity, and of change or death. Either or you could use. The concept of life is there. The concept of maturity is there. The concept of change, dying, is there. There's so many things that the Dikenga holds that it's unbelievable. The Dikenga dia Congo. The Dikenga dia Congo, the concept, the foundation of it all, with the understanding of the binary code, you could find gender, male or female, positive or negative. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. In the Dikenga dia Congo, that cosmogram, Banto cosmogram, it tells you or it signifies the understanding of the creation of the world. When was the world created? At what stage? When was the plants created? At what stage? When was the animals created? At what stage? And when was human life created? At what stage? The Dikenga dia Congo is a profound cosmogram. And in that cosmogram, there's a profound understanding and teaching. So, and that's a lot, brothers. Stuff that I came and talk here and say. And stuff that I still need to learn. I'm not saying everyone should be using the Dikenga dia Congo. And if you don't use the Dikenga dia Congo, you're not, you can't divine or you can't do it. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying those that have never heard about the concept of binary codes using the Chamalongos, look back. And then look now, who has been teaching those things? And just give credit to where, credit is due. Who deserves it? Simple as that. At the end of the day, we learn from many brothers and sisters out here. We learn from each other. So, I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to offend nobody or none of that, but I'm just trying to, bring some awareness, and some understanding, whether you like us or don't like us. And I say us because I'm part of Briyumba Mulemba. Be blessed. Have a great day. Don't forget to get your books on Amazon. Tata Matamba. All his books are great. But if you want to learn, or at least have the concept of how to divine with the Chamalongos, the book you should be getting is The Scrolls of Time. And the other ones. But if you want to learn binary system using Chamalongos, a system that is not put out like that, you can start with that book. Have a great day. Be blessed. Sorry for holding you up this long. It's just something, you know, that I wanted to come out and say, and nothing, you know. Let's keep on chewing down the railroad. Choo choo. Have a great day. Be blessed. Salam alaikum. Alaikum salam.